the World by Og. What if the secret to wealth, happiness, and success was hidden in 10 ancient scrolls? Not in a university, not in a course, not even in a best-selling seminar, but in 10 simple yet profound principles, passed down through the centuries, concealed within the pages of a tiny book written over half a century ago. Welcome to The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og, a book that, despite its humble size, has transformed the lives of millions. But make no mistake, this is not a book about sales. It's a book about life, about purpose, about rising from the depths of despair and stepping into the fullness of your potential. Let me tell you a story. In the dusty streets of ancient Damascus lived a poor camel boy named Hafid. He had nothing, no riches, no influence, no hope. But he had a dream, to become the greatest salesman in the world. And what's remarkable is he did. Hafid rose from poverty to unimaginable prosperity, not by luck or chance, but through the timeless wisdom locked within 10 sacred scrolls. Scrolls given to him by a mysterious master salesman named Pathros. Scrolls that contain laws of success not only in business, but in love, relationships, resilience, and the human spirit. Now you may be thinking, this sounds like a parable, and you're right. But the beauty of parables is this: they speak to the heart. They sneak truth past the noise of our modern world and plant it deep inside where it can take root. Hafid's story isn't just about him, it's about you, me, all of us. Hafid's journey is the journey of every person who has ever dared to dream, who has ever faced rejection, fear, or failure, and still chosen to rise. But before we explore the scrolls, you need to know the story of the man behind this masterpiece, Og. Og wasn't born successful. In fact, at one point, he was completely broken. After serving in World War II as a bomber pilot, Mendino returned home to find his mother dead and his dreams shattered. He spiraled into alcoholism, lost his job, and ended up homeless, aimlessly wandering the streets. He even came close to ending his own life. With a gun in his hand and despair in his soul, he entered a public library to warm himself. But that moment changed everything, because instead of pulling the trigger, he picked up a book, then another, and another. He read success books, motivational stories, self-help classics, anything that could give him a reason to live. And out of that darkness was born a new man, a man who would one day become a best-selling author, a motivational legend, and an inspiration to millions. The Greatest Salesman in the World was the book that made his name, and it continues to make a difference, decade after decade. So what makes this book so powerful? Why does it continue to sell year after year to young and old, professionals and students, dreamers and doers? Because it speaks to what every human heart longs for: a sense of purpose, a belief in one's own worth, a practical path to become the person we were meant to be. In this video, we're going to walk through each of the 10 scrolls of success, and I want you to hear me clearly. These are not ordinary lessons. These scrolls contain principles that, when practiced daily, can change the direction of your life. They can reshape your mindset, your habits, your emotional strength, and your ability to persist through any challenge. And remember, this isn't just for salespeople. You might be a student, a teacher, an entrepreneur, a parent, a creator, or someone simply trying to rebuild your life. The principles in these scrolls apply to anyone who wants to become their greatest self. The scrolls speak of discipline, love, persistence, confidence, joy, urgency, growth, action, and faith. These are not tricks or gimmicks. They are character traits. And once they are embedded into your daily life, they make you unstoppable. As you listen to each scroll, I encourage you to do 3 things. 1. Reflect deeply. Don't just listen, think. Ask yourself how the lesson applies to your current season of life. 2. Commit to apply. Change doesn't happen by knowledge alone. It happens when knowledge is put into motion. 3. Share this wisdom. The greatest gift you can give someone is the inspiration to grow. By the end of this video, my hope is that you won't just understand the scrolls. You'll feel them. You'll carry them with you. And more than anything, you'll be inspired to begin your own journey of transformation. Because like Hafid, you were born for greatness. The framing story of Hafid. Long before the world was filled with billboards, digital ads, and modern sales tactics, there lived a poor camel boy in the ancient city of Damascus. His name was Hafid, an orphan with little to his name except the clothes on his back and the dream in his heart. He didn't come from privilege. He wasn't born into wealth or opportunity. But Hafid possessed something far more powerful, a desire to grow, to serve, and to become someone of significance. His journey began humbly, working under the guidance of a wise and prosperous merchant named Pathros, who had once been a great salesman himself. Pathros wasn't just wealthy, he was revered. His success was not measured only in gold and goods, but in the integrity of his name and the joy with which he lived. Under Pathros' watchful eye, Hafid learned the basics of commerce, handling animals, packing supplies, assisting traders. But it wasn't enough. Deep down, Hafid wanted more. Not more money, but more meaning. He longed to rise above his station, not for selfish reasons, but because he believed that life held something greater for him. Sensing this fire in Hafid, Pathros eventually made a decision that would change the boy's life forever. As the old merchant lay on his deathbed, he summoned Hafid and entrusted him with a treasure more valuable than gold or silver, a small, unassuming chest. Inside this chest were 10 ancient scrolls, each containing timeless truths, principles that had been passed down through the generations, guarded closely and used only by those deemed worthy. These were the very scrolls that had made Pathros wealthy, not just materially, but in wisdom, peace, and fulfillment. But there was a condition. Pathros told Hafid, "You are not to use these scrolls for greed. You are to use them only for good, to serve others, to grow not only in riches, but in virtue." This moment marked a turning point. Well, Hafid was no longer just a camel boy. He was now the keeper of a sacred legacy, a legacy meant to be lived, practiced, and shared with the world. And so began Hafid's transformation. He did not become the greatest salesman overnight. In fact, his early attempts ended in failure. But he remembered the scrolls. He studied them daily. He lived their teachings, one scroll at a time, day by day, word by word. And slowly the truths began to shape him, not just as a seller of goods, but as a man of character. The story of Hafid is powerful not because of how much he earned, but how much he became. His riches were simply the byproduct of a deep inner journey, a spiritual awakening, a commitment to live with love, persistence, humility, laughter, and faith. What's remarkable is that the scrolls are never focused on manipulation or technique. They don't teach the tricks of persuasion or the art of negotiation. Instead, they focus on the development of the self, on becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts success, the kind of person who elevates others simply by being who they are. In a way, Hafid's story isn't just historical fiction, it's an allegory, a mirror reflecting the journey we are all invited to take. We all begin in our own version of the Camelot, the mundane, the unremarkable, the starting point. And we all, at some point, receive the invitation to grow into our greatest potential, to rise beyond our fears, to serve others, to become the greatest version of ourselves. And though the scrolls are framed in the context of sales, their wisdom applies to every arena of life. They're about discipline, mindset, emotional mastery, gratitude, and spiritual grounding. They remind us that success is not a race, it's a process, a series of small, intentional decisions practiced daily. Even in today's fast-paced world, filled with distractions and noise, the lessons in these scrolls remain deeply relevant because human nature hasn't changed. We still wrestle with fear, with procrastination, with self-doubt. We still long for connection, confidence, and purpose. And we still need timeless truths to anchor us through the chaos. That's why Hafid's story is more than a tale. It's a blueprint. And it's not just for salespeople. It's for the teacher trying to inspire her students, the father working to provide, the entrepreneur chasing a vision, the young adult searching for direction, the person who feels lost but senses that greatness still lives within them. In Hafid's final days, he too became a giver. Having fulfilled his mission and lived out the scrolls, he passed them on once again, this time to a young man named Saul, who would one day be known as Paul of Tarsus. Yes, that Paul, the apostle. The symbolism here is profound. The scrolls weren't just about wealth, they were about wisdom for living, about legacy, about changing the world one life at a time. And now that same wisdom is being passed on to you. As we dive into each of the 10 scrolls, don't just hear the words. Let them speak to your soul. Let them challenge you, stretch you, uplift you. Let Hafid's story remind you that no beginning is too small and no dream is too big if you're willing to commit to the process. Are you ready? Let's open the first scroll. Today I begin a new life. Scroll 1. Today I begin a new life. 6 simple words, but behind them lies a truth so powerful it can erase years of regret, break chains of fear, and ignite a future brighter than any past you've ever known. This is where the journey begins. Scroll I of the greatest salesman in the world doesn't start with tactics or strategies. It begins with transformation, an inner rebirth. Because before you can change your results, you must first change your identity. In this scroll, Ugmandino speaks directly to the wounded, the weary, and the wandering. He acknowledges that many of us come with scars, failures we've endured, mistakes we've made, and dreams we feel we've lost. But this scroll does something incredible. It wipes the slate clean. The failures of my past are gone. I will laugh at them. They concern me no more. In other words, your past does not define you. Your story doesn't end with your last failure. It begins now, with your decision to rise. And that is the heartbeat of this scroll. Rebirth. Let that word settle for a moment. Rebirth. It means you get to start again, not because you've earned it, but because you've chosen it. Think about nature. Every day the sun rises without fail. It doesn't matter how dark the night was. Every morning offers a new chance to live, to grow, to try again. And so it is with your life. No matter what happened yesterday, whether you stumbled, hesitated, or gave in to doubt, today is a clean page. This is more than a motivational quote. It's a spiritual principle. It's about renewing your mindset and your identity, starting each day not as the person you were, but as the person you are becoming. Ogmandino writes, I will greet this day with love in my heart, and I will make a promise to myself that I will live this day as if it is my last. Why is this powerful? Because so many people carry their yesterdays like heavy luggage, dragging old guilt, shame, and disappointment into each new moment. But that only breeds frustration. You can't run a race while looking backwards. So the scroll invites you to shed the old skin, to release the patterns that held you down. Procrastination, fear, laziness, and self-doubt. These are not who you are. They were only habits, and habits can be broken. The scroll is clear. Bad habits must be destroyed, and new furrows prepared for good seed. Let's break that down. Bad habits are like weeds. They grow wild, unnoticed, and often choke out the good things we're trying to cultivate. But with intention, we can pluck them out and plant new habits. Habits of strength, habits of excellence, habits of love. So what does this look like in your daily life? Let's say you've been waking up late, feeling sluggish and unmotivated. Or maybe you've been procrastinating on your goals. You feel stuck, as if you've already failed. But then you remember, today I begin a new life. So instead of hitting snooze, you rise early. You stretch. You take a deep breath. You speak to yourself differently. You say, yesterday is gone. Today I walk in strength. That mindset shift alone can change everything. Because when you believe you can begin again, you approach life with hope instead of guilt, action instead of avoidance. Let's go even deeper. Think about the identity shift. The scroll says, I am not the sheep waiting to be prodded by my shepherd. I am a lion and I refuse to talk, to walk, to sleep with the sheep. That's strong language. And for good reason. The scroll challenges us to rise above mediocrity, to stop being passive and to step into our power. Lions aren't driven by fear. They're driven by instinct, by courage, by purpose. The scroll invites you to wake up the lion within. You are not helpless. You are not small. You are powerful beyond measure when you believe it. Now let's talk about ritual, because Mandino emphasizes repetition. He instructs the reader to read each scroll 3 times a day for 30 days. Why? Because real transformation doesn't happen in a moment. It happens through daily practice. You become what you consistently consume. So imagine starting each day reading the scroll, declaring to yourself, "Today I begin a new life. Today I shed my old skin. Today I rise like the sun, fresh and full of power." After a few days, your mind begins to shift. After a few weeks, your habits follow. And after a month, your entire energy changes. That's not magic, it's mental reprogramming. It's the art of rewiring your beliefs by feeding your brain truth every single day. So how can you apply this in real life? Here's a morning reset ritual inspired by Scroll 1. 1. Wake up and smile. Before checking your phone, declare out loud, "Today I begin a new life." 2. Journal a sentence or two about what you're letting go of. Release it. 3. Visualize the person you want to be today. Strong, focused, grateful. 4. Read something that fuels your spirit. The scroll itself, a passage from a good book, a quote that ignites you. 5. Take bold action. Do something early that sets the tone. A workout, a prayer, writing, planning. Start strong. The beauty of Scroll Martin is that it gives you permission to reinvent yourself every single day. You don't need to wait for a new year, a new week, or some perfect moment. You can choose right now to begin again. So as we close this scroll, let me ask you, what would your life look like if you truly believed that today was a fresh start? How differently would you speak to yourself? How boldly would you pursue your dreams? What would happen if you released the past and stepped fully into the present? You don't need to wait to find out. Today, you begin a new life. The lion within is ready. Scroll 2. I will greet this day with love in my heart. What happens when you approach the world, not with defensiveness, not with fear or calculation, but with genuine love? In Scroll 2, Augmandino makes one of the most radical yet beautiful claims in the entire book. Love is the most powerful weapon you have. Not manipulation, not clever tactics, not sharp words or cold efficiency. Love, that unseen force that disarms anger, melts rejection, connects strangers, and uplifts both the giver and the receiver. This scroll is a game changer because it reframes how we interact with the world. It teaches us that love is not just a feeling, it's a choice, a mindset, a tool, and most importantly, it's a decision you make before the day even begins. Let's break it down. Love is your greatest tool in life and business. Imagine waking up each morning and choosing, before anything else, to fill your heart with love for everyone and everything you will encounter. That means choosing love over irritation during traffic, choosing love over pride in a tense conversation, choosing love over apathy when someone needs help. In the world of business, and especially sales, this scroll turns the game upside down. Instead of viewing others as obstacles or transactions, you begin to see them as human beings. Each person, regardless of title or temperament, becomes worthy of compassion, dignity, and care. And this principle extends beyond business. In your relationships, your work, your community, love is what separates excellence from mediocrity. Why? Because people don't remember what you sold them. They remember how you made them feel. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle. This is where empathy comes in. You never know what someone else is carrying. The angry customer? They might be grieving. The cold colleague? They may be hurting. The rude stranger? They may be drowning in fear, self-hate, or loneliness. Mandino writes, "I will look on all things with love, and I will be born again." This kind of love is not soft or passive, it's strong. It takes strength to respond to rejection with grace. It takes wisdom to rise above the ego and offer understanding. It's easy to love those who are kind to us. But what about those who reject, resist, or even insult us? This scroll trains us to love even them, not because they are lovable, but because love transforms you, the giver. Handling rejection, criticism, and anger with love. Let's talk about real-life situations. You walk into a meeting excited to pitch your idea. You're met with indifference, or worse, ridicule. What do? You could get defensive, withdraw, give up, or you could remember the scroll. Silently in your heart say, I love you. No, it doesn't mean you're naive. It doesn't mean you're blind to mistreatment. It means you're choosing power over pain. You're refusing to give others control over your emotional state. Try this. When someone criticizes you, respond with patience. When someone is rude, respond with kindness. When someone ignores you, respond with calm presence. Every time you respond with love, you're reprogramming your emotional reflexes. You're no longer reacting from insecurity or ego. You're acting from purpose and strength. And here's the magic. Even if the other person doesn't change, you do. You walk away proud of your integrity, rooted in peace. I will silently say I love you to everyone I meet. This is one of the most powerful lines in the book. Can you imagine what would happen if, before every conversation, every meeting, and every handshake, you whispered in your heart, I love you? You don't have to say it out loud, but your energy will say it for you. People can feel love, even when it's unspoken. Your tone softens, your eyes warm, your body language becomes inviting. And guess what? People respond to that. It's not magic, it's emotional resonance, the science behind love and positivity. Let's look at what modern science tells us. When you feel love or connection, your brain releases oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. It reduces stress, builds trust, and even boosts your immune system. Your body also uses mirror neurons to reflect the emotional state of those around you. When you approach someone with a heart full of love, they subconsciously mirror that energy. You calm their defenses, you create openness, you invite trust. This is why some people seem to naturally attract success. They carry emotional energy that uplifts others. Mandino understood this before brain scans existed. He knew that a person who greets the day with love will have more influence, more peace, and more lasting relationships than the person armed with only logic or force. How to practice Scroll 2 in daily life. Here's a practical way to live this scroll. 1. Start your day with intention. Before you leave the house, pause and say, today I will greet this day with love in my heart. 2. Visualize the people you'll meet. Mentally bless each one. See yourself interacting with grace, even if they're difficult. 3. Reframe conflict. The next time someone frustrates you, take a breath. Silently say, I love you. Then respond with kindness. 4. End your day with gratitude. Reflect on the moments you showed love and how it felt. You become what you project. In the end, Scroll 2 reminds us that we don't see the world as it is. We see it as we are. If you walk into the day armored with anxiety and fear, you'll find reasons to validate those emotions. But if you walk in full of love, you'll notice beauty where others see boredom, compassion where others see weakness, and opportunity where others see obstacles. The truth is, love is not just about how you treat others. It's also how you treat yourself. So when you make mistakes, love yourself. When you're tired, be gentle with yourself. When you're growing, be proud of yourself. This is not just a scroll, it's a mirror, a mantra, and a map. A mirror that reflects your highest self. A mantra that realigns your soul. A map that guides your journey. So the next time you look someone in the eye, stranger or friend, let your spirit whisper what Mandino taught us. I love you, not for what you can give me, not for how you treat me, but because love is who I am. Scroll 3, I will persist until I succeed. 7 words, simple. Yet within them lies the difference between mediocrity and greatness, between a life half lived and one that leaves a legacy. In Scroll 3, Og Mandino drills into the heart of what separates winners from quitters, not talent, not resources, not even intelligence, but persistence. The relentless decision to get up again and again when failure knocks you flat. Mandino reminds us that no ocean can wear down a rock in a day, but given time and unceasing waves, even the mightiest cliff surrenders. The same is true for life. Challenges, rejections, and delays are not signs to quit. They are the very training grounds where character and destiny are forged. The dream doesn't die because it's hard. It dies because we give up too early. Scroll 3 calls us to adopt an ironclad mentality. I will keep going until I win. Period. Think about this. Success rarely goes to the smartest person in the room. It doesn't always favor the most gifted or the most privileged. It favors the one who refuses to quit, the one who knocks again after the door has been slammed in their face, the one who believes that effort, repeated daily, eventually cracks open opportunity. History proves this. Take Thomas Edison. It took him over 1,000 failed attempts before he successfully invented the light bulb. When asked how it felt to fail so many times, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." He persisted, not because success was guaranteed, but because quitting guaranteed failure. Or consider Colonel Harlan Sanders, who was rejected more than 1,000 times before someone finally bought into his now world-famous KFC recipe. Imagine if either man had quit after failure number 999. The world would never have known the gifts they carried. Ogmandino's own life is perhaps the most stirring testament to this scroll. Before becoming a best-selling author, he was an alcoholic, broke, depressed, and contemplating suicide. One day, aimlessly wandering the streets, he stumbled into a library to escape the cold. There, he picked up a book instead of a bottle. That book sparked a change. He kept reading, kept writing, kept believing, even when no one else did. Years later, that man, once broken and forgotten, wrote The Greatest Salesman in the World, a book that would inspire millions. His message is clear. Don't quit. The darkness is temporary. Keep walking. The dawn is closer than you think. Persistence is not about speed. It's about direction. It's the willingness to move forward even if progress is slow. One of the most powerful lines in this scroll says, "I will plant the seed daily, and it will bloom in due time." Think about a farmer. He doesn't plant a seed and expect a harvest tomorrow. He waters it, nurtures it, and protects it, knowing that the harvest will come, but only in its season. Your dreams work the same way. The seeds you plant with every action, every risk, every failed attempt, they are germinating beneath the surface. Just because you don't see results immediately doesn't mean your efforts are wasted. They are being stored. And when the time is right, the results will erupt like spring from winter's grip. Too often we give up just before the breakthrough. One more phone call, one more resume, one more day of belief. Who knows what difference that could make? Every master was once a disaster. Every expert was once a beginner. Every champion wanted to quit but chose not to. Scroll 3 invites you to draw a line in the sand and say, "From this day forward, I will never quit on my dreams. No matter how long it takes, no matter how many failures I face, I will persist until I succeed." Persistence doesn't mean perfection. You'll stumble. You'll fall. But Mandino teaches that each failure is not a stop sign. It's a stepping stone. In fact, success often hides behind multiple failures, waiting to see how badly you want it. Those who turn away never find it. Those who keep going, no matter what, eventually do. Let this scroll be your battle cry in the tough moments. When motivation fades and doubt creeps in, whisper to yourself, "I will persist until I succeed." When the sales don't come, when your work goes unnoticed, when others tell you it's impossible, say it louder. "I will persist until I succeed." You don't need immediate results. You need unwavering resolve. The power is not in how fast you climb, but in the decision to never stop climbing. Persistence also breeds resilience. Every time you get up after falling, you strengthen your character. You build grit, and grit is the silent engine behind all great accomplishments. Over time, You become unstoppable, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. So how do you live this scroll in your daily life? First, change how you define failure. Failure is not the end. It's feedback. It's life's way of redirecting you, refining you, and building you up. Second, develop rituals that support your goals. Even small daily actions, when done consistently, compound into massive results. Remember the seed analogy. Water your dreams, feed them with effort, protect them from doubt, and trust the process. Third, surround yourself with people who persist. Iron sharpens iron. If you're surrounded by quitters, their mindset will rub off on you. But if you walk with warriors, you will become one. Finally speak it, declare it, breathe it. I will persist until I succeed. Let this be the rhythm of your life. In conclusion, Scroll 3 is not just about business or sales. It's about life. It's about becoming the kind of person who never surrenders to circumstances. A person who knows that success is not some distant dream, but a reality waiting on the other side of persistence. This scroll isn't merely words, it's a weapon, a mindset, a code of honor. And if you live by it, truly live by it, there is no dream too distant, no challenge too great, and no failure too final. Scroll 4. I am nature's greatest miracle. You are not an accident. You are not a random combination of atoms drifting through life without meaning. You are nature's greatest miracle. These words from Scroll 4 of the greatest salesman in the world are not flattery. They are fact. There has never been, and will never be, another you. In a world of over 8 billion people, no one shares your exact DNA, your fingerprints, your voice, or your unique view of the world. And that is not a coincidence. That is purpose. In a society obsessed with comparison, where social media constantly reminds us of who's prettier, richer, smarter, or seemingly more successful, it's easy to forget our own worth. But this scroll tears down the toxic illusion of better than and replaces it with a profound truth. There is no comparison because you are incomparable. You were designed not to imitate, but to create, not to copy, but to contribute something original to the world. You are the only version of you that will ever exist, and that is your superpower. Obmandino writes, "Never has there been, and never again will there be, such a one as you." This is not just motivational talk. It is a spiritual truth. You were born with gifts, perspectives, and potential that the world desperately needs. Your existence is not by chance. It is by design. That dream you carry, that pain you've endured, that talent you've been hiding, none of it is random. It's all part of your mission. And when you recognize your inherent value, something incredible happens. You stop looking outside for validation and start looking within for direction. This scroll invites you to shift from self-doubt to self-respect, to replace insecurity with identity. It asks you to stop saying, "I'm not good enough," and start declaring, "I am a miracle, and I am more than enough." The world does not need another copy of someone else. It needs you, authentic, imperfect, real you. What happens when we embrace this truth? First, we silence the voice of comparison. Comparison is a thief. It steals joy, peace, and potential. When you compare your beginning to someone else's middle, or your behind the scenes to their highlight reel, you cheat yourself of self-worth. Scroll 4 reminds us to stop measuring ourselves against others and instead measure ourselves by how fully we're living our own purpose. Your path is yours alone. Walk it boldly. Second, we begin to capitalize on our uniqueness. Mendino urges us not just to recognize our gifts, but to use them. Your story, your struggles, your personality, they're all tools. Maybe you're a great listener. Maybe you write or speak or lead with compassion. Maybe your greatest strength is your ability to empathize with pain because you've been through it. Whatever your gifts are, they matter. Don't waste them trying to fit into a mold you were never meant to fill. Take action right now. Pause for a moment and make a list, mentally or on paper, of your unique strengths. What are you naturally good at? What do people thank you for? What activities make you lose track of time? What problems do you feel called to solve? These answers are clues to your miracle. Don't overlook them. Own them. Build your life around them. You don't need to be the smartest, fastest, or most popular. You just need to be you, fully and unapologetically. When you stand in your uniqueness, you magnetize the right people, the right opportunities, and the right path. Authenticity is more powerful than perfection. Confidence is not about thinking you're better than others. It's about knowing you have something different to offer. This scroll also serves as a healing message. For anyone who's ever felt overlooked, rejected, or unworthy, let these words be your reminder. You are not broken. You are becoming. Every flaw you see in yourself may be part of your hidden strength. Every scar tells a story of survival, and every experience has shaped you into the miracle you are today. You are not defined by your failures, your past, or anyone's opinion of you. You are defined by the truth that you matter. In today's noisy world, it takes courage to be yourself. But the reward is freedom. Freedom to stop chasing approval and start creating impact. Freedom to walk in rooms with your head held high, knowing that your presence alone is powerful. Freedom to stop pretending and start living. Scroll 4 is a declaration of war against low self-esteem and a celebration of divine identity. Imagine what would change in your life if you truly believed, every morning, I am nature's greatest miracle. How would you walk? How would you speak? What dreams would you chase? What fears would you finally overcome? This scroll isn't about arrogance. It's about alignment. When you see yourself the way your Creator sees you, precious, powerful, purposeful, you begin to rise, and the world rises with you. So as you move forward in life, remember this. You are not here to blend in. You are here to stand out, not through ego, but through authenticity. Your light is needed. Your story is sacred. Your voice has value. You are not just a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. You are nature's greatest miracle. Live like it. Scroll 5. I will live this day as if it were my last. Imagine this. You wake up and a voice from the heavens whispers, this is it, your final day on earth. What would you do? Who would you love more deeply? What regrets would you try to erase? Who would you forgive? What dream would you finally chase, even if you were afraid? This is not just a morbid thought exercise. It's the core message of Scroll 5 from the greatest salesman in the world. Live every single day as if it were your last. Time is life's most precious currency. You can lose money and earn it back. You can lose opportunities and create new ones. But time, once it slips through your fingers, it's gone, forever. And yet, most of us treat time as if we have an unlimited supply. We procrastinate. We postpone our dreams. We say, I'll do it tomorrow. But tomorrow is not promised. Today is all we have. Ogmandino understood the fragile nature of life all too well. After hitting rock bottom, homeless, jobless, drunk, and contemplating suicide, he stumbled into a library, picked up a book, and his life began to change. From that moment forward, he stopped wasting days and started living them with intention. Scroll 5 is his urgent call for us to do the same. When you live today as if it's your last, you stop wasting energy on trivial things. Petty arguments, pointless gossip, and mindless scrolling lose their grip on your time. Suddenly, the people you love matter more. The words you speak carry more weight, and your actions are infused with meaning. You no longer walk through the day on autopilot. You're awake, alive, present. This scroll invites you to shift from passivity to passion, to stop postponing the life you truly want to live. That business you've been dreaming about starting, begin now. That person you've been meaning to forgive, do it today. That book you want to write, the trip you want to take, the love you want to express, why wait? Every sunrise is a second chance. Every morning you open your eyes is life handing you another opportunity to write a different story. I will live this day as if it is my last means making every day count. It means choosing your actions with clarity and courage. It means treating people with the kindness you'd want to be remembered for. When you truly internalize this scroll, your perspective shifts. You don't just rush through tasks, you pour your heart into them. You don't say someday, you say now. You realize that your time is too valuable to spend in negativity, fear, or regret. You start to filter your life through a powerful question. If this were my last day, would I be proud of how I'm living it? There's a deep beauty in urgency. It sharpens your focus. It amplifies your gratitude. It helps you see that every moment, yes, even the ordinary ones, are sacred. Brushing your child's hair, laughing with a friend, walking in silence under the stars. These aren't filler scenes in the movie of your life. These are the movie. Mendino writes, I will waste not a moment mourning yesterday's misfortunes, yesterday's defeats, yesterday's aches of the heart. Why should I throw good after bad? The message is clear. Let go of the past. Yesterday is over. Its joys and sorrows are done. All you truly own is now. And this now is the canvas on which you can paint your legacy. This scroll also teaches us the importance of presence, being fully where you are. How often are we physically present but mentally absent, distracted by thoughts of tomorrow or trapped in regrets of yesterday? When we live as if today is our last, we show up fully. We listen deeply. We love fiercely. We notice the small miracles we usually ignore. The warmth of the sun, the sound of laughter, the gift of breath. Let this be a personal challenge to you. If today were truly your final 24 hours, what would you change? What would you stop tolerating? What would you start doing that you've been too afraid to begin? Who would you call? What would you say to them? Start there. Because while we can't control how many days we have, we can control how we live the ones we're given. And when you string together one fully lived day after another, you begin to build a life that's not just successful, but significant. This isn't about rushing or burning out. It's about showing up fully. It's about making each day a masterpiece. Not every day will be perfect, but every day can be purposeful. So as you move forward, let the words of Scroll 5 echo in your mind. I will live this day as if it is my last. Not tomorrow, not next year, today. Because today is all we are promised, and how you live it is the truest reflection of the life you leave behind. Coming up next, Scroll 6. Today I will be master of my emotions. Because once you master your time, the next frontier is mastering your mind. Scroll 6. Today I will be master of my emotions. Imagine being able to stay calm in chaos, composed in conflict, joyful in adversity, and courageous in fear. That is the power promised by Scroll 6 of the greatest salesman in the world. Mastery over your emotions. Omandino understood a deep truth that many overlook. Success is not just about action, it's about emotion. How you feel determines how you think, and how you think determines what you do. If you don't master your emotions will master you. The world is unpredictable. You'll face rejection, disappointment, bad news, slow progress, and difficult people. You can't control these external events, but you can always control your internal response. That is what this scroll invites us to do. Become the master of your internal world. Mandino writes, weak is he who permits his thoughts to control his actions. Strong is he who forces his actions to control his thoughts. In other words, do not let feelings dictate your destiny. Yes, you'll feel fear, sadness, boredom, or even rage, but you don't have to act on them. Emotions are signals, not commands. They are messages to pay attention to, not masters to obey. Think about it. How many dreams have been killed because someone felt afraid and quit? How many relationships were ruined because anger went unchecked? How many opportunities were missed because someone felt discouraged and stopped trying? Now imagine if in those moments they had chosen to act in alignment with their goals, not their moods. That's real power. The scroll says, if I feel fear, I will plunge ahead. If I feel inferior, I will wear new garments. If I feel uncertain, I will raise my voice. If I feel poverty, I will think of wealth to come. If I feel ill, I will double my labor. If I feel loss, I will laugh. These are not just poetic lines. They are practical shifts in emotional perspective. This scroll teaches a concept modern psychology calls emotional reframing, changing the way you perceive an emotional experience to empower yourself. For example, instead of "I'm nervous," say "I'm excited." Instead of "I'm overwhelmed," say "I'm growing." Instead of "I failed," say "I learned." Every emotion has two sides, pain and potential. Fear can paralyze, or it can focus you. Sadness can sink you, or deepen your empathy. Anger can destroy, or drive change. Mastery means recognizing the emotion, understanding its message, and then choosing your response with awareness and intention. Here's a practical strategy to implement this. Emotional journaling. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what emotions did I feel today? What triggered them? How did I respond? How would I like to respond next time? Doing this helps you become emotionally literate. You start noticing patterns. You learn your triggers. You build emotional resilience. This kind of mastery isn't just for peace of mind. It's a superpower in sales, relationships, leadership, and life. In sales, you'll face rejection and setbacks. The ability to stay positive, persistent, and calm under pressure is what separates the average from the extraordinary. In relationships, mastering your emotions means you don't say things you'll later regret. You respond instead of react. You listen, understand, and build trust. Emotional mastery is not suppression. It's not pretending you don't feel things. It's about owning your emotions instead of being owned by them. It's about feeling fully, then choosing wisely. It's allowing emotions to pass through you, not control you. And remember, just as weather changes, emotions are temporary. No storm lasts forever. When you realize this, you stop making permanent decisions based on temporary feelings. You learn to wait, to breathe, to pause before you react. And in that pause, you find your power. Ugmandino didn't write these scrolls from an ivory tower. He knew emotional chaos. He'd lived it. He'd faced the edge of despair, almost taken his own life, and then chose to climb back. Every word in this scroll is forged in the fires of personal battle. That's why it resonates. Because it's not just motivational, it's real. So here's your challenge. Become aware of your emotional patterns. When do you feel discouraged? What makes you anxious? What kinds of people, situations, or thoughts throw you off center? Then practice choosing your response. Build that emotional muscle day by day. This scroll ends with a powerful call to responsibility. I am master of my emotions. Not I hope to be, not maybe one day, today. Now this moment, say it aloud. Let it sink in. Because when you learn to ride the waves of your emotions without drowning in them, you become unstoppable. You become someone who doesn't just react to life, you shape it. And that is the kind of person who not only succeeds, but inspires others to do the same. Scroll 7. I will laugh at the world. Have you ever felt like the world was closing in on you? Like every effort you made was met with failure or resistance? We've all been there. But Ogmandino offers us a different way to face life's difficulties, not with bitterness or defeat, but with laughter. In Scroll 7, Mandino writes, I will laugh at the world, and most of all, I will laugh at myself. For man is most comical when he takes himself too seriously. These aren't just words of comfort. They are tools of strength. They teach us that perspective is everything. When you laugh, even in hardship, you reclaim power over the situation. You say, this may be tough, but it won't break me. Humor is more than entertainment. It's a strategy. It's armor. When you laugh at a setback, you shrink its power. When you smile through rejection, you remain in control. Think of the most resilient people you know. Don't they often carry an uncanny lightness? A sense that even when life is heavy, they've learned to dance through the weight? Mandino reminds us that the world is not against you. It's just the world. It rains on the just and the unjust. Rejection, failure, and loss are part of the human experience. No one escapes it. But the difference between the crushed and the conqueror is this: how they interpret their pain. You have a choice. You can moan, complain, and sink into self-pity. Or you can chuckle, shrug, and move forward with grace. Laughter doesn't mean denial, it means transcendence. It means refusing to let life's absurdities poison your spirit. Let's be honest. Sometimes life is ridiculous. You work hard and the deal falls through. You prepare for weeks and the client ghosts you. You try to do good and someone misunderstands your intentions. In those moments, a little laughter can save your sanity. It keeps your ego in check and your heart open. Mandino encourages us to laugh at ourselves. Why? Because self-importance is a trap. When you can laugh at your own mistakes, you rob them of their shame. You become teachable. You stop fearing failure and start embracing growth. You lighten your load. Science backs this up. Laughter reduces cortisol, the stress hormone. It boosts immunity, strengthens social bonds, and improves mental clarity. It's medicine for the soul and fuel for persistence. And let's not forget connection. People are drawn to those who radiate lightness and joy. As a salesperson or any leader, you'll be far more persuasive when you make people smile. Positivity is magnetic. Joy is contagious. But how do you cultivate this attitude in a tough world? Start small. Find humor in the mundane. The printer jams on the morning of your big pitch? Laugh. Your phone auto-corrects a text into nonsense? Laugh. Your toddler smears peanut butter on your work shirt just as you're leaving? Laugh. Because here's the truth. You'll look back on many of today's frustrations and smile anyway. So why not do it now? Make it a practice. At the end of each day, ask, what made me laugh today? What could I have laughed at instead of getting upset? And if it feels like there's nothing funny right now, go seek it out. Watch a comedy, read a humorous book. Surround yourself with lighthearted people. Make space for joy. It's not a distraction from success, it's a vital ingredient of it. And finally, remember, laughter doesn't mean you're not serious about your goals. It means you're not letting your goals steal your joy. You're playing the long game, and you refuse to burn out with worry. Ogmandino's life is a testimony to this. He knew despair. He stood at the edge of suicide. But instead of drowning in misery, he chose laughter. He chose to rise, to smile, to serve. And through that, he became not just a salesman, but a messenger of hope. So when the road gets rocky, and it will, smile. Laugh. Find the absurdity in the challenge, and keep going. Because joy is not the reward at the end of the path. It is the strength that carries you through it. Scroll 8. Today I will multiply my value 100-fold. In life and in sales, one truth remains unshaken. Your value is not fixed. It can grow exponentially. This is the powerful message of Scroll 8 in The Greatest Salesman in the World. Ogmandino calls us to multiply our value 100-fold, to break free from limits and expand in every way possible. Too often, people settle for what they think they can do right now, trapped by their current skills, mindset, or circumstances. But Mandino reminds us that we are capable of incredible growth. Our potential is like a seed, tiny at first, but capable of blossoming into a mighty tree. The question is, are you watering that seed today? This scroll isn't just about learning more sales techniques or getting better at your job. It's about a lifelong commitment to improvement in skills, mindset, character, and impact. When you multiply your value, you don't just help yourself, you lift others around you. One of the most transformative ideas Mandino offers here is the commitment to over-deliver, to give more than expected, more than required. Imagine how different your life and career would be if every day you sought to exceed expectations. If every conversation, every product, every service you offered was not just good, but extraordinary. This principle applies beyond sales. In relationships, it means giving more kindness, patience, and attention than you think you need to. In personal growth, it means pushing yourself to learn something new every day, even when it's uncomfortable. In your work, it means raising your standards so high that mediocrity isn't an option. Mandino writes, I will set goals that stretch me. This is vital. Growth happens outside comfort zones. Setting small, safe goals won't change your life, but aiming high, really high, forces you to expand, to develop new skills, to innovate, and to persevere. Growth also means embracing failure as a necessary step on the path. When you stretch yourself, you will stumble. But each failure is feedback, a lesson that brings you closer to mastery. If you keep your focus on multiplying value, setbacks become temporary and surmountable. Here's a simple yet powerful daily challenge. Find one way today to add value to someone else's life. It could be a genuine compliment, helping a colleague, sharing useful knowledge, or simply listening deeply. When you make it a habit to serve others with excellence, your own value naturally multiplies. Remember, the greatest salespeople, leaders, and changemakers are those who don't hoard their skills or knowledge. They share freely, uplift others, and in doing so, elevate themselves. Ogmandino himself was a testament to this truth. After turning his life around, he dedicated himself to helping millions through his books and teachings. He multiplied his value not just by selling more, but by serving more readers, more learners, and more dreamers. So today, ask yourself, how can I stretch beyond my limits? What skill can I improve or learn? How can I over-deliver in my work and relationships? Who can I add value to right now? Commit to growth. Commit to service. Commit to multiplying your value 100-fold. Not someday, but today. Because when you do, success becomes not just possible, it becomes inevitable. Scroll 9. I will act now. There is a simple yet profound truth that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Action. Scroll 9 of the greatest salesman in the world is a clarion call to break free from hesitation, doubt, and procrastination, to move boldly and immediately toward your goals. Omandino's mantra, I will act now, I will act now, I will act now, is more than repetition. It's a declaration of urgency and courage. Dreams remain fantasies without action. Ideas, no matter how brilliant, gather dust if we don't do the work to bring them to life. The bridge between where you are now and the success you desire is built plank by plank with deliberate action. There is no shortcut. There is no magic pill. There is only doing. Why is acting now so hard? Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. But Mandino teaches us that fear loses its power when you move. The moment you take a step forward, you shift from paralysis to momentum. You claim control over your destiny instead of surrendering to doubt. Think about the times you hesitated, waiting for the right moment, the perfect plan, or the confidence to appear. In reality, that perfect moment rarely comes. Waiting breeds regret and wasted opportunity. But taking imperfect action builds experience and confidence. Mandino's repeated mantra, I will act now, I will act now, I will act now, is a tool to overcome hesitation. When your mind races with excuses or fear, repeat it aloud. Let it drown out the inner critic and compel your body to move. There's also a powerful principle here, momentum. Even a small step forward creates energy that fuels the next step. You don't have to start with a giant leap, just start. Write the first sentence, make the first call, and take the first step toward your health goal. That small action creates momentum that can carry you through doubts and distractions. Consider this. Many people spend more time thinking about starting than actually starting. The difference between a successful person and a dreamer is often simply that. The successful person acts. The dreamer plans endlessly, but never crosses the line from thought to deed. History is full of examples. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times but acted again and again until he invented the light bulb. Colonel Sanders was rejected over 1,000 times before Kentucky Fried Chicken became a global brand. Their secret? They acted now, every day, no matter what. This scroll also reminds us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. You don't have to be fearless. You only have to act despite your fear. With each action you take, your courage grows stronger. To apply Scroll 9, start by setting clear intentions every morning. Ask yourself, what one action can I take today that moves me closer to my goal? Then act immediately. Avoid the trap of, I'll do it later. The moment you think it, do it. Make I will act now your battle cry. Whenever procrastination creeps in, repeat the mantra until your limbs move, your fingers type, your feet walk. The secret is simple but powerful. Movement beats hesitation every time. In conclusion, Scroll 9 is about seizing the moment with boldness and determination. It challenges you to stop waiting for permission from others or yourself, and to take command of your life through immediate action. Remember, the dreams you cherish are waiting on the other side of that first step, so don't wait another second. Act now. Scroll 10. I will pray for guidance. As we reach the final scroll in The Greatest Salesman in the World, Og Mandino invites us to embrace a deeper truth, one that transcends skills, persistence, or even courage. Scroll X is about prayer, faith, and the humble acknowledgement that we are not alone in our journey. It's a call to connect with something greater than ourselves, to seek guidance beyond human understanding. Mandino writes, "Help this humble salesman. Guide me in all I do." This simple prayer carries profound power. It reflects the core of spiritual humility, a recognition that while we must act, strive, and persist, our efforts find their fullest meaning when aligned with divine wisdom or universal truth. Faith in this sense is not limited to any one religion or belief system. It's the recognition that there is a force or presence beyond the ego, beyond our limited control. This connection gives us strength beyond logic, a source of courage and calm when circumstances overwhelm us. Many people achieve external success yet feel empty or restless inside. Mendino reminds us that true success is never complete without inner peace and alignment. Material gains, achievements, or status mean little if your heart and spirit are out of sync. Prayer and spiritual connection help restore this balance. Prayer here can be understood as a moment of surrender. It's the conscious act of setting aside the illusion that we have all the answers and instead asking, "Show me the way." This act humbles the ego, often the biggest barrier to growth, and opens us to wisdom that cannot be found in books or experience alone. This scroll encourages us to see prayer not as a last resort, but as a daily practice, an ongoing dialogue with the universe, God, or our higher selves. It nurtures patience, gratitude, and trust. When we pray for guidance, we acknowledge that we don't have to carry life's burdens alone. Whether you call it God, the universe, or simply your own intuition, the invitation is the same. Ask for help, listen deeply, and follow the guidance that comes. This spiritual partnership does not guarantee an easy path, but it guarantees a meaningful one. Mendino's closing words remind us of the humility and reverence that should accompany every effort. Help this humble salesman. Guide me in all I do. It's a beautiful reminder that no matter how skilled, persistent, or knowledgeable we become, our greatest strength lies in staying connected to our purpose, to others, and to the divine. So as you close this chapter of the scrolls, remember that success without spirit is hollow. Let prayer, faith, or your own form of spiritual reflection be the foundation upon which you build your greatest life. Thank you for joining this journey through the greatest salesman in the world. If you commit to these scrolls, these life-changing principles, you are not just becoming a better salesperson or professional, you are becoming your greatest self. Stay inspired, keep growing, and remember, the greatest sales you'll ever make are the ones to yourself. Selling the belief that you can achieve, you can serve, and you can live fully. Finally, as we come to the close of this journey through the greatest salesman in the world, let's take a moment to reflect on the powerful wisdom packed within these 10 ancient scrolls, principles that transcend sales and speak directly to the heart of becoming your greatest self. First, we began with Scroll 1. Today I begin a new life. It called us to shed the weight of past failures and embrace the possibility of fresh beginnings every single day. Then in Scroll 2, I will greet this day with love in my heart. We learned that love is the most powerful tool, not just in business, but in all human interaction. It changes how we see others and ourselves. With Scroll 3, I will persist until I succeed, we embraced unshakable persistence, because success belongs not to the smartest, but to those who never quit. Scroll 4, I am nature's greatest miracle, reminded us of our unique worth, pushing us to celebrate and capitalize on our one-of-a-kind strengths. Scroll 5, I will live this day as if it were my last, brought urgency and presence, teaching us to honor the gift of time by living fully and intentionally. Then scroll 6, today I will be master of my emotions, showed us how emotional intelligence, mastering our reactions, can become our superpower in every challenge. With scroll 7, I will laugh at the world, we found resilience through humor, learning not to take life's setbacks too seriously and to find joy even in adversity. Scroll 8, today I will multiply my value 100-fold, inspired us to grow continuously, serve generously, and over-deliver in all areas of life. Scroll 9, I will act now, was a powerful wake-up call to move beyond procrastination and fear, reminding us that action is the bridge between dreams and reality. And finally, scroll 10, I will pray for guidance, humbled us with the reminder that success without inner peace is incomplete, and that asking for help from a higher power or our inner wisdom is essential. Now I want to ask you, which of these scrolls spoke to your soul the most? Was it persistence, love, living fully, or mastering your emotions? Or perhaps it was the call to act now or the power of prayer? Let that scroll become your beacon. Mandino himself recommends reading The Greatest Salesman in the World at least 3 times to truly absorb and live by these life-changing principles. But even more powerful than reading is doing. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 10 weeks, focus on one scroll each week. Practice it, journal about your experiences, and notice the transformation it brings. Remember, this isn't just a book about salesmanship. It's a guide to living with purpose, courage, and integrity. Your greatest sales are not to others. They are the commitments you make to yourself every day. If this video inspired you, please like, comment below which scroll impacted you most, and subscribe to join a community of lifelong learners growing together. Share this video with friends or family who need a boost of motivation or a reminder of their own potential. And don't forget to journal your journey. Write down your thoughts, challenges, and victories as you work through each scroll. Reflection is the fuel for lasting change. Thank you for watching. Your greatest life is waiting. One decision, one action, one scroll at a time.